We're at the end of the road, folks. Classic Collection Monsters U through Z. It's been 2 years since my review of Monsters A through C. A lot has changed since then. I am glad we've been able to see the series all the way through to its finale, and I'm really curious to see where they go from here. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This box has some really fun minis, with a bit of a focus on undead creatures. So with thanks to WizKids for sending it my way, let's check out Monsters U through Z. Enhance and improve your 5e games today with Hit Point Press. Explore the whimsical dark carnival setting of Hecna. Will you see through the glitzy charade or fall prey to Hecna's everlasting torment? Or enhance your 5e games with animated spell, condition, and townsfolk cards. Add a slew of creative and gorgeously illustrated magical items with the Griffin Saddlebag. And face down more than 30 innovative 5e villains with their big book of big bads. Learn more today at Hit Point Press by using our link in the corner or down below. In first edition, Umber Hulks were the monsters you encountered for daring to go too deep underground. They were four-eyed, terrifying tunnelers. The story goes that the original Umber Hulk design, which you can see here, was based on a cheap plastic toy that Gary Gygax found in one of his corner shops, which itself was loosely modeled after Japanese kaiju monsters. It wasn't until later editions that the Umber Hulks became more closely tied with mind flayers and took on that more insectoid look. Vampires are vampires, and their general lore hasn't changed so much from first edition, but has certainly been streamlined, enhanced, and expanded over the years. They're much more calculating and less feral than their original 1E counterparts. The original art and design was clearly based on the old Universal and Hammer horror films' visual interpretation of vampires. If you want a vampire who really wants to camp it up, this figure is fantastic, and I really love it. If you're like me, you might struggle to remember which undead is which. Wights are corporeal, intelligent undead creatures who drain the life from the living. They're inspired by the Barrow Wights from Lord of the Rings, who themselves were based on Norse and Scandinavian mythological grave guardians. But oh my god, it is the hair on this one that gets me. This is the kind of mini that you can use for just about anything. Maybe it's just a gray-skinned feral orc. Wraiths, on the other hand, are incorporeal, also intelligent undead. Where Wights rose from dead warriors, Wraiths tended to come from evil tyrants and rulers. They both are known for draining health from their foes. In 1E, Wraiths were really dreaded because they could drain experience and levels from you, and that was a permanent effect. I think most of us are pretty happy that that mechanic is no longer a thing. Wraiths can now also build their own undead gangs, as any person they kill rises as a specter under the Wraith's control. I love Xorn. They're kind of just like earth elemental dogs that just single-mindedly want to eat a bunch of rocks and gems. Any creature that lives or works underground will eventually have to deal with them. And they are intelligent, so you can bargain with them. Maybe in exchange for some tasty gemstones, they'll burrow a tunnel through that mountain for you. And their overall design hasn't really changed much from first edition. They're still three-armed, three-legged, goofy-looking rock creatures. We love them so much here at the Gallant Goblin that we've made a plushie version that will eat your dice. Yes, you can put your precious dice in their mouth, zip it shut, and take them with you on your next game day. Coming soon in our upcoming Kickstarter, that link is in the corner and down below. Of course, the Yeti is a classic Arctic ambush hunter who is instinctively afraid of fire. They have gotten somewhat more magical over time. These days they can freeze foes with their gaze and conjure up ice in their hands which they can throw at enemies. This mini is one of the more brutal ones I've seen from WizKids, as the Yeti appears to have ripped someone's shield off with the arm still attached. Extra points if you somehow can tie that into your story and campaign. Finally, our zombie, which doesn't require a lot of explanation. Unlike the zombies of popular culture, they don't spread zombieism themselves in D&D 5th edition. If one bites you, you may still want to get a tetanus shot, but you're probably going to be just fine. Zombies are raised instead by necromancers and other outside forces. Zombies are rarely fun by themselves, so if you're looking for more, WizKids did make a zombie warband that we reviewed in a video you can see up there in the corner right now. This set is certainly a little more themed than most of our classic creature collections, with 4 out of the 6 of them being undead creatures. This isn't my favorite box out of the series, but I'm quite fond of that over-the-top vampire. Makes me want to introduce a character in my story who is a flamboyant theater performer turned vampire who decides to really double down on the campiness of the whole thing. The Umber Hulk is going to be a little bit tricky to hit your table, as these days Umber Hulks are far more insectoid looking, and this guy is almost amphibious, so I would be inclined to create maybe a custom stat buff for him, though you could probably get away with making him a green slot if you wanted to. Classic Collection Monsters U through Z will be available in September 2025 for between $70 and $80. I still think these boxes would have hit harder if they'd been closer to $50, but they seem to be a bit of a collector's item. I've noticed that the supply of all the previous boxes seems to be dwindling in online stores, so if there were any of them that you wanted to pick up, I would seriously consider doing it soon. I have links to all the boxes in the doohickey down below, along with my reviews of them. I also need to go through and figure out which box was my favorite. If you have one off the top of your head, let me know down below. And don't forget to check out Hit Point Press at the links down below as well. It's September, so time to start thinking about holiday gifts, and Hit Point has some really great options. Maybe I should put together another gift guide this year. I haven't done that in a while. But I'll be thinking about that, and in the meantime, you stay safe, have fun, love each other, and I will see you next time at the Gallant Goblin.